Hello, I'm Paul Perrello, and welcome to the Philly Factor. What started out as a professional relationship working together within various agencies of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, it quickly turned into a working relationship on a book for my next two guests. Authors Joe Farley and Joe Farrell take readers on a journey of interesting graves and stories about those interred in the cemeteries of Pennsylvania. Now here's one of those shows where we have two guests, both named Joe, both have the first initial of their last names with the same letter. So I'll introduce everybody. We have here to my immediate left, Joe Farley, and to his left is Joe Farrell. And I want to welcome you both to the program.
Thank you very much.
I told you off the air before we began that I have a hard time putting this book down and getting anything accomplished because I keep getting sucked into all the stories of the book. The name of the book is Keystone Tombstones, Volume 1, soon to be Volume 2, and maybe even Volume 3. And what I find amazing about this is that, of course, everybody hopes that when they leave this good old earth, they have left their mark in some way, shape, or form. And then you have the rich and famous, you have the not so rich, the infamous, the notorious, actors, actresses, politicians. I was surprised to find out how many of them, not only here in southeastern Pennsylvania, but across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, are actually buried here. I mean, when you think of Hollywood celebrities, the first thing you think of is that they're buried in Hollywood. But we'll get into some of them that are interred here in the great state of Pennsylvania. But let's go into how this whole idea, Joe, started. I mean, where did the spark come for this idea?
Well, you know, Joe had written a book already about his experiences going through Catholic high school. And I retired, and we began to talk about writing a book together. Our first idea was to travel the Lincoln Highway and chronicle our experiences. I took that idea to my wife. She didn't like it at all. She didn't think the two Joes out in the Lincoln Highway, she didn't think we'd get home.
It could be a lot of trouble, right?
But at any rate, my son, who was a freshman at the University of Pittsburgh at the time, he was a computer science major, had taken a philosophy course, and he liked it. And he knew I took a lot of philosophy in college, and when he came home, he asked me if I had any old books, philosophy books, and I went looking, and I found him a couple. But I also found a book by a sports writer by the name of Red Smith that I had purchased in the 1980s, and it was called Two Absent Friends. And it was a collection of columns that he had written about people that he knew in the sports world that had recently passed away. And I began to reread it, and I thought, you know, there's got to be a lot of famous people buried in Pennsylvania. And then Joe and I met at a local pub, and over a pint or two, I bounced the idea off of him, and he liked it. And then he came up with the idea of actually visiting the graves and taking pictures of the tombs.
It's a great idea. It's a book that really not only shows you where or tells you the location of where these people are buried, but also gets into some of the biography of the person.
Yes.
It gets into the story of not only how they died, but you know, in many cases, how they were born and lived their life and made an impact on whether it's Philadelphia, Harrisburg, or Pittsburgh, or even the world stage for that matter. And one of the people highlighted in Volume 1, and it would seem appropriate to include in Volume 1, is Ben Franklin, Joe. And you know, for us people here in the Philadelphia area, Ben Franklin, while not born in Philadelphia, we've embraced him as a Philadelphian. He is buried in Old City in the Christ Church graveyard, and it's one of the most visited stops in, you know, when you're walking through Old City. And people have a tradition of throwing coins on Ben Franklin's grave.
Yeah. And well, it should be one of the most popular places in Philadelphia because Ben Franklin was, by any measure, a great man.
Yeah.
And the research I did said that that's where that tradition of leaving coins on graves began. The first time in this country that anyone remembers that ever occurring was leaving pennies on Ben Franklin's grave after he died, which was attended, well, Joe actually wrote the chapter, but if I remember, over 10,000 people, which at the time was a huge piece of the population of Philadelphia.
I think it was more than that. I think it was close to 20,000.
Attended his funeral.
Wow. We just had a picture up of Ben Franklin's grave, and of course they say, you know, a penny saved is a penny earned, and that's why people put the penny on Ben Franklin's grave. So of course he's included in the book, and you get into, you know, his life and times, and he's the only person. And what I like about the book is that if you think you know something about Ben Franklin, you have capsulized Ben Franklin's life into a few pages instead of reading the volumes and volumes of work on Ben Franklin.
One of the things we're real proud of is that a Pittsburgh reporter reviewed our book and called it a I can't believe I didn't know that book.
Exactly.
And we really take great pride when somebody comes up to us or somebody
Yes.
emails us and says, I just read the chapter on so-and-so. I never knew that or something. That's what we really love.
Yeah, and like I found out that he is the only founding father that signed all 4, I guess, important documents concerning the birth of this country. We think of him as a signer of the Declaration of Independence, but we don't know that he may have been at the signing of the U.S. Constitution, but he actually signed the U.S. Constitution. So again, you do find these things out that either we forgot from our childhood or just never knew.
Yeah. I never knew that he was from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
He was born and raised in Massachusetts. I mean, I never knew that. I thought he was
I
Philadelphia.
thought he was as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Let's go across the other end of the state now to the Pope of Pop, Andy Warhol. And of course, many people are familiar with Andy Warhol's works, his paintings. And again, an artist whose art is not only embraced here in the United States, but worldwide. I mean, he has drawn, and painted some of the most prolific people that, ever graced the earth. And yet, Andy Warhol is buried in his hometown of Pittsburgh?
Right outside Pittsburgh, yes.
Yeah. And what did you find so startling? And then we see the picture of the Warhol grave. I mean, besides, what is it, cans of Campbell's soup that are left on the gravestone?
Cans of Campbell's soup, there were guitar picks. What else did we find there? Did we find any coins there?
Yeah, there was some coins. There was some kind of a kit that somebody left for their daughter.
Oh, that's right, yes.
Yeah, it was a very confusing, but obviously it meant something to somebody.
Yeah. Sure, yeah. And you call these items that are left at the grave sites grave goods, right?
Yeah.
And I guess everybody has their own reason for leaving things behind, and some would say, well, why the Campbell soup can? Well, because he was, the artist that immortalized the Campbell soup can on canvas, if
That's
you will,
right.
right?
And actually, Campbell's soup is right now issuing or producing
That's right.
cans that memorialize Andy Warhol.
Yeah, yeah. And when we talk about, some things never go out of style. We talk about the Campbell soup can, and Campbell's comes up with the idea that, gee, maybe we'll, repackage the cans to look like the Andy Warhol can. The movie Lincoln is out, and Thaddeus Stevens is a key player in the movie.
That's a stroke of luck.
And yeah, the timing is everything in this business, right? Now, is Thaddeus in Volume 1 or Volume 2?
He's in Volume 2.
He's in Volume 2.
Yes.
So for people that may go and see the movie Lincoln by Steven Spielberg, the director, a brilliant movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I hear a very great movie. So they may come back and say, gee, I want to know more about Thaddeus Stevens. And the first thing they're going to find out is that he's buried in Pennsylvania.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's buried in Lancaster, and he picked the cemetery for one specific reason, and that was it was a cemetery that allowed blacks to be buried there. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to, that's what, he lived his life fighting slavery, and that was very important to him.
Sure, yeah. When you set out on this mission, and some people, look, everyone has a loved one that is in a cemetery, and you go and visit, and however often or infrequent you go, that's everybody's personal prerogative. But when you decided that you were going to go on this mission to write this book and to find these graves, where do you begin? I mean, of course you have the logical, okay, Philadelphia, it's got to be Ben Franklin, we'll start there. Then you start to find some of the other historic figures that are also in the Philadelphia area. Of course, this, then when you get out into the Lancaster area, in Gettysburg, there are many of the generals and many of the service people that served in the Army during the Civil War. So there's a connection there. And then you say, well, I know Frank Gorshin grew up in Pittsburgh, was born in Pittsburgh, but he becomes a big celebrity, if you will. So he can't possibly be buried in Pennsylvania. But the Riddler, as I remember him from the Batman series on television in the 60s, Frank Gorshin is buried in Pittsburgh, right?
Yep.
Yeah. What was his grave like?
Well, it's a terrific grave.
Yeah, it really is a terrific grave. It's got a picture of an entertainer on it in a spotlight, holding a microphone. And what is written on that one?
What's it all mean?
What's it all mean?
Wow.
Is written on the bottom of the tombstone.
It didn't say, riddle me this, Batman. It didn't say anything like that, right?
Yeah.
But very prolific, what's it all mean? Yeah. That's it's something you can definitely sit down at the dinner table or even at a pub and debate for hours, what does it all mean? Jane Mansfield, and we have a photo of Jane's grave. She was born in Bryn Mawr in Montgomery County in suburban Philadelphia.
Right.
She goes on to be a big star in the 60s. One thing that I think you put to rest in your chapter on Jane Mansfield, and there we see her grave, and one of the more ornate tombstones, if you will, compared to some of the other ones that are in there, is that she was not decapitated in that tragic accident on the way going from one city to another. She was traveling with another person and 3 children, I believe.
That's right.
But she died in that car accident, but was not decapitated.
Right. She died of massive head trauma. And one of the passengers in the back seat was her daughter, Mariska Hargitay, who is the star of Law and Order SUV.
Yeah. And so where's she buried?
Penn Argyll. And one of the things we noticed at her grave was the number of coins that were left on that grave. And the last time we were there was actually a Jane Mansfield doll that was left.
What happens to these items? And I don't know if you get into this in your research, but you traveled from one end of the state to the other, and I'm guessing more than once back and forth. But did you get into what happens? I mean, everybody goes and they pay tribute and honor every which way they want to it at graveside. But what happens to these items, like the doll? I mean, does the cemetery, the caretaker, collect it, toss it? What happens to this stuff?
We don't know. That's something we ought to find out. We know that money left, for example, at the cemeteries, like at Ben Franklin's, the churchyard, that actually goes toward the upkeep of the place.
Okay.
They actually do collect the money and use it for the upkeep. I don't know about items that you would leave.
Well, the only item I can tell you for sure about is Myron Cope's grave, the Pittsburgh Steelers sports announcer. People often leave terrible towels there because he invented the terrible towel.
Right.
And we actually met his daughter, and she said she leaves them on there for maybe about 6 months, and then she collects them.
Yep. When you go to these cemeteries, and you're going to cemeteries of all different denominations, I assume.
Yes.
How eager, how welcoming were they to you? I mean, did you need to get permission to go in and look at the gravesite or photograph the gravesite? No.
But how we're received really varies.
Really?
Yeah. There's people at cemeteries like Shortier Cemetery, for example, where Myron Cope is buried. The people there were wonderful to us. They helped us find the graves. They came with us. They told us about other graves we might be interested in. They were wonderful. In some places, they feel like maybe they're violating some privacy right or something. And in one place in Philadelphia, in Holy Cross Cemetery, there was one grave where they would not speak to us at all about. And that was Henry Holmes, who was generally known as America's first serial killer. They're not allowed to speak about that
grave. He's in an unmarked grave.
Really?
Yes, and he's buried under 10 feet of concrete.
Wow.
Because he did not want his grave disturbed. He was afraid either relatives of his victims or doctors that wanted to examine his brain would dig him up. So he specifically had himself buried under concrete.
Wow, interesting facts. Of course, we mentioned the Civil War. We mentioned many of the generals of the Civil War, and not to say that are they buried pretty much? I mean, the ones that you found, they're not in Gettysburg. There's some in Philadelphia. There could be some out in Western Pennsylvania. Did you find that there was a connection to where these people lived? Is where they were interred?
Yes.
That really was the connection.
Yes.
Oftentimes.
And Philadelphia has a plethora of Civil War officers, generals, and heroes that we've visited. Of course, Meade is maybe the best known. Is George Meade, and in volume 2 we have Hancock. And interestingly enough, I mean, based on what I've read in the chapters, I wrote both of those chapters. Hancock, I would say, deserves much more notoriety than Meade, but Meade probably is better known than Hancock.
Sure, yeah. Also included in volume 1 is Pennsylvania's only president, and that was James Buchanan, right? And now his grave, we don't have a picture of it, unfortunately, but his grave is a little more ornate. It's bigger. I mean, he was a president of the United States.
Right.
So when you finally found James Buchanan's resting place, was it what you expected to see when you went there because he was a president of the United States?
I would say yes, The grave was what we expected to see, knowing that it's maintained by the federal government.
Right.
And they get money from the federal government. The cemetery was much more run down than I thought it would be. His grave is like one nice grave in a very old, very not real well kept cemetery.
One of the things we noticed, and you might want to tell this story, that we both found very interesting was the grave that sits right across the road from Buchanan and faces his grave.
Lieutenant, his name is Lieutenant Bostwick, L.E. Bostwick. And all it says, well, you know, ironically, James Buchanan is roundly criticized as one of the worst presidents ever. And the biggest fault that he's cited for is doing so little to prevent the Civil War, doing so little to prevent the South from seceding. He had opportunities and declined. He was basically believed to be a Southern sympathizer. Well, facing his grave, and this is so curious to me, whether this is on purpose or just an accident of fate, but a grave across the road, maybe 20 yards away, facing his grave is the grave of L.E. Bostwick. And it says he was killed at the Battle of Antietam. He was 25 years old, and it was his 19th battle. And that's like an astounding thing of its own. And he's like facing Buchanan. And I just found that like an amazing twist of fate.
Sure, absolutely. The books are available, at least volume 1 is available. You can go to sunburypress.com and you can buy the book right from Sunbury Press. You've been doing a number of book signings across the state. How many miles have you logged from when you first, you know, because I'm intrigued, is like, how many times have you crisscrossed the state?
You do the driving. So.
Way too many.
Really? Yeah.
I don't know how many exact miles we've put on, but you know, we could calculate it because we do keep track of it for expenses information. But yeah, we have been everywhere, places I've never ever thought I'd ever be.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Yeah, we've been everywhere.
Now,
but Philadelphia is so rich. We could mine Philadelphia for I don't know how many volumes.
Well, yeah, I mean, just some of the older cemeteries. I mean, you mentioned Holy Sepulchre out in Yeadon, Delaware. That's Holy Cross. Holy Sepulchre is up in Cheltenham, where Frank Rizzo is buried. And then not too far from where the former police commissioner and mayor is buried, you have a gentleman by the name of McGillicuddy who is buried there. And so you mentioned the name, and the first thing when I hear McGillicuddy, I think of Lucille Ball, because that was, I think, the landlord, or well, there was some character on the I Love Lucy show, Mrs. McGillicuddy. But for people that are baseball enthusiasts know that McGillicuddy was Connie Mack's.
Connie Mack. His name was shortened from McGillicuddy to Mack, so it would better fit on a scorecard.
How about that?
When he was a minor league baseball player.
Yeah, and he's buried in the same cemetery as Frank Rizzo. The grave there only says McGillicuddy.
That's all it says.
No mention of his contributions
You would never know.
to the world of baseball.
You would never know.
Really?
And the man was a giant in baseball. You know, his career spanned over 50 years. You know, one of the things that I enjoy about him was he also always wore a suit and never wore a uniform in the dugout. I mean, that's very interesting. But when I was a kid, I had baseball cards, and the Philadelphia Athletics always had a white elephant on them, and I never understood that.
Right.
What's athletics got to do with an elephant?
Right.
But the press was critical of the notion of having a second team in Philadelphia. The Phillies were established. He's coming in with an American League team called the Athletics, and they made fun of it, and they called it Philadelphia's White Elephant. He turned it into their logo. And that, I finally got the answer to what white elephants had to do with Philadelphia Athletics.
Well, you also talk about baseball. You can't help but remember the passing of Harry Callis just a few years ago. And again, he's buried, and what a wonderful, I guess, graveside memorial that has been put up where Harry is interred. And he is in, is it West Laurel Hill?
Laurel Hill.
Laurel Hill,
Yeah.
right. And there, I mean, there's the microphone. I mean, we think of Harry Callis and we think of him as the Phillies broadcaster.
It's my favorite grave.
Yeah.
The seats are from Veterans Stadium on both sides of it. The grass is from Citizens Bank Park. And the base is shaped like home plate.
How about
it's
that?
a tremendous testimony or a memorial, I think, to Harry Callis. And it's impressive. We've both been impressed with how beloved he is, and that every time we go there, we've been there a number of times, there's more and newer grave goods left. Hats, balls, money, scorecards. It's just, he's beloved.
Yeah, and of course that's just his fans' way of thanking him, paying honor and tribute to Harry. And you would think that because of Harry's personality and his influence on broadcasting and his work with the Phillies, that cemeteries would be reluctant to have so many people go to the gravesite and pay honor, because he was so special that you would think that they would not want this public spectacle or outpouring of support all the time.
Doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah.
We actually sat in the seats.
Yes.
How about that?
You know, they seem quite proud to have Harry Callis there.
Yeah.
And quite proud to tell you where he is and everything, yeah.
The name of the book again is Keystone Tombstones. Volume 1 is now out. SunburyPress.com. You can find out more information where you can get the book. These guys have been out there crisscrossing the state. I'm sure there's had to be some method to your madness when you go out and you decide, okay, we're going to start out in southeastern Pennsylvania, then we're going to go up, I-80 or I-81 into upstate Pennsylvania, and maybe even visit Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, where the town is named after the Olympic athlete. Jim Thorpe really has no connection to Pennsylvania at all, besides it being his final resting place. But as I understand it, this town wanted the remains of Jim Thorpe so they could have a tourist attraction.
Well, that's part of it.
Okay.
One of the things they were trying to do at the time, they were in competition for the NFL Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
They were one of the last 3 cities considered. And they felt that if they could land the body,
Mm-hmm.
Jim Thorpe's body, that would give them a little extra plus there. And what they did was they made Thorpe's third wife an offer for the body.
Mm.
And they paid her for the body, and she gave them permission.
Wow.
Now his son is trying to have the body sent back to Oklahoma.
Right. It's amazing that they would want to, I mean, because a lot of people think that Jim Thorpe, he's a Native American.
Yes.
So, and because he's buried here, everybody thinks that he was born in Pennsylvania, but originally from Oklahoma.
Yes, he
Yeah.
was born in Oklahoma. Now, he came into sports prominence in Carlisle, Pennsylvania.
Okay, all right.
Because he went to the Carlisle Indian School where he
Right.
played, he was a track star and a football star, where he played for the legendary coach Pop Warner.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, he won the 1912 Olympics, the pentathlon and decathlon.
Right.
Only person ever to have done that.
What is it you hope that people get out of these books? Because, as I said, I can't put the book down. It just seems to me that these are small capsules of history. Yes, we find out where they're interred, what their grave looks like, where the grave is located. But I can't help but feeling, like we said at the beginning of the interview, is that you're either rediscovering or discovering for the first time a bit of information about these people that you've included. And in book 1, there are 30 people. Book 2, there's
27 chapters, but I believe there's 28 people.
28 people,
Yes.
okay. So what is it you hope that people come away with after reading your books?
Well, first, enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we love that. Wow, I didn't know that. I read this chapter. I just love whenever people approach us and say, I didn't know so-and-so did that or was there. We like that. Secondly is, I think I was taught history horribly.
Mm-hmm.
I was taught history matching columns, dates, generals, battles, memorization, and I think a much better way of learning some history is biography.
Right.
Because it touches, it makes you identify with that person. You understand what their life was like, and that they were not just a general in a battle, but they had a family, and what they left behind to do this, and how they were thought of by their troops, and how they stand up in history and what they accomplished. So I think it's a great way to learn history and to enhance your appreciation of history through biography. And these are mini biographies. And I think that's good in the sense that you're not investing enormous number of hours on one person. You can get a capsule of what this person did, and I'm also very flabbergasted by how much some of these people are linked, and their lives are linked together, and it's amazing. Yeah.
In your research and your travels throughout the state, was there a grave that you happened to stumble upon, and it was that aha moment, or wow, look at this, Joe, look who I just found, or look what I discovered?
Yeah. Joe discovered John White Geary in Harrisburg. We knew he was a general in the Civil War, but we had no idea what his life was really like.
He was an amazing man, and his grave is quite impressive with what the Commonwealth paid for it. The only grave in the Harrisburg Cemetery that has a statue on it. It's a statue of him. But he was the first postmaster in San Francisco. He was the first mayor of San Francisco. He was a hero of the Mexican War, hero of the Civil War, governor of Kansas, and 2-time governor of Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And he was 53 years old when he left the governorship of Pennsylvania. and he was planning on running for the presidency. He was at home in the town we live in, by the way, making breakfast for one of his kids, suffered a massive heart attack and died.
Wow, wow. Fascinating stories, and even before we started, I gave the guys 3 names that I thought of right off the top of my head, and they're already working on it. So can't take credit for the 3 of them, but you know, who knows? I mean, if a person should, I think even this may provide the spark for other people to go out and explore history a little bit on their own. I mean, you could go into these cemeteries. There's no restriction that says you can't go into cemeteries and explore, but
well, there's two things, Paul, let me just point out. One is that after each chapter we have an "if you go" section.
Exactly.
It sort of tells you other things in the area that you might be interested in, other graves or that might be interested in, and even restaurants and pubs where you can get a bite and wet your whistle. And the other thing is everywhere we've gone, we've tried to visit any graves we could find of Congressional Medal of Honor winners. And in Volume 1, we mention the Congressional Medal of Honor winner recipients' graves that we visited. In Volume 2, we actually got such a good reaction from Volume 1 that in Volume 2 we actually put the pictures of the recipients of Congressional Medal of Honor.
Again, I want to encourage you to go out and get the book Keystone Tombstones, Volume 1, Famous Graves Found in Pennsylvania. Again, this is what the book looks like. It's easy to read, it's informative, it's entertaining, some great pictures in there that the guys have taken themselves, some great stories. I can't encourage you enough to go out and pick up a copy of the book, only to be followed by Keystone Tombstones Volume 2 and hopefully even Volume 3. And we look forward to having the guys back on the program again real soon to continue their discussion about this great series of books that they've stumbled upon. And gentlemen, thanks so much for being with us. Do appreciate your time.
Thank you,
Paul.
Thank you. Joe Farley and Joe Farrell with us here on the program. Until next time, thanks so much for watching The Philly Factor. I'm Paul Perrello.